All right. Defund the police. Here we go.
We got enough time for this?
It's a
Defund the police is crazy.
Defund the police.
It's crazy. It's not a matter of funding the police. It's a matter of training the police. It's not a matter of the amount of money you give police to do anything. It has nothing to do with the amount of money. In fact, if anything, they don't have enough money to do the job correctly, which is why we have a bunch of jackasses that are cops that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that don't know how to respond to situations, that don't know how to treat people correctly. That's a huge problem. And when they say defund the police, people have taken the BLM movement, they've taken the defund the police movement to situations on the street that happen, only the situations that make media coverage, first and foremost, only the ones that are bad enough that someone got a video of and it made it on TV. We're not even addressing the complete inhumane and just inhuman treatment of people in jail.
And inhuman, two different things.
I don't fucking know, but they're two different words, and I'm going to say them as two different things.
I want to make sure I'm trying to follow the inhuman
whatever
and inhuman.
Whatever.
Fair enough.
I've had two of those. Let's go.
All right.
But it's one thing to say, all right, well, they treat people bad out on the street, and they've arrested people, and they assault people, and they've killed people on the street. It's another thing to look at how the same police structure, once you get in the car with them and you go where they want to take you to go.
How many times have you been arrested?
Probably 10, 12. I mean,
right.
Enough.
Fair enough.
I spent enough time in the friggin' holding cell.
Okay.
To know that
any convictions?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, like they're all like traffic bullshit.
Any leaving the courtroom?
No.
To go?
I didn't have to go to Gen Pop. No, never had to do that.
All right.
But just the way they treat people. I watched the show. There was a show that did a pretty good job called 60 Days In. They took regular people, put them in jail for 60 days, gave them a fake cover story, and made them serve out 60 days in jail. And it's
60 days in jail.
60 days, and
is like 10 years anywhere else.
There you go.
60 days in jail. A year in jail. I'll just say this. You don't want to do it.
No. Who would want to do that?
You don't want to face that.
You're not Mike Tyson. You can't do that shit.
I mean,
but what I'm saying, anyway, to come back to what I'm saying, defund the police. It has to do with training them to properly. They don't have training. Look, I have a friend that is a cop. She became a cop last year. And I will tell you this. I knew her for about a year prior to her becoming, telling she's going to be a cop. In no way, shape, or form would I ever be afraid of her as a police officer. Like, you're not going to chase me down. I'm bigger than you. I'm faster than you. So your only method of subduing me is going to be something that I can't control. Taser, gun, something. You're not, or I just like you, or I just comply. And a lot of the situations that we see on social media is just straight up non-compliance. Now, I have never been to an officer and been like, fuck you, and doing that. I'm always nice, respectful to him, because I know that this person has the ability given to him by another person to wreck my life forever or end my life forever.
All right, well, then let me ask you this question.
Well aware of that.
If you thought he was about to kill you, forget.
But why? Why would I think that?
No. Because let me explain something to you that I know from human behavior. When somebody is no longer abiding by the law, and you know for a fact they've made it clear. I've been arrested several times by people that the law had nothing to do with the arrest. And and you get to the point in the arrest where you now already know the law is not part of this process anymore. This person is not obeying the law as he's been taught to obey it. And now you are in a situation where the person who has clearly made it obvious to you that he is not obeying. See, because I know that people, when they say these things, they're like, oh, well, if you know, you were resisting. Well, let me explain a different set of circumstances that does occur, because I've been in it. So I do know what I'm talking about. And I'm not even black. I'm just a white guy who I know officers pull over. They look at my Jeep. They look at the condition that it's in. They look at where it's from. They look at me. They say to themselves, I can do whatever the fuck I want to this guy. And if he resists me at all, I'm just going to kill him. And they make that obvious to you. And it's 2:00 in the morning. And you're on the side of the road. And you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's you and that heavily armed, heavily protected motherfucker who's got every benefit of the doubt in the world on his side. There's no citizen with a fucking cell phone. There's no nothing. Now, you know that if you go along with what they do, and the guy has made it clear, hey, you got a violation, I'm going to put you in cuffs, I'm going to take you in, they're going to process you, you'll be out in the morning. All right. Freeze! Fucking freeze! Are you gonna fucking freeze? Are you moving? Are you moving? You're like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving.
Right.
And then no violation, no rights read, no nothing. Put your fucking hands behind your fucking back right fucking now. And if you do anything other, if you ask, what did I do? Why is this happening? What is going on? Why are you arresting me? Brother, you've got no rights at that point.
No, you don't.
And the next movement is a bullet through your fucking head. And you have to make a decision. Am I going to let this fucking psychopath put a pair of handcuffs on me, where at that point I have literally no control over my life, and he doesn't have to put a bullet through my head. He can just beat me to death. Or am I going to fucking resist that? And am I going to not? Now, in my case, I had to make decisions more than once where I did say to myself, this is a moment where you are going to make a decision. Are you going to fight this motherfucker for your life? Or are you going to go along and pray that once these cuffs put on you, he's not going to beat you to death in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of night, with nobody around, and his word against a dead person's?
But what does that have to do with defunding them?
This has to do with these guys are not. First of all, I don't agree with getting back. I don't agree with the defunding the police. What I do understand is the mentality of a person who feels like they're about to die.
No, I get that. But the problem is, maybe the problem is the fact that they said defund the police, because the movement behind that is wrong. You can't take money away. They already don't have enough money to do the job. First of all,
okay,
they work long hours, way longer than they should, in a job where they encounter hundreds of people a day. They're not. No,
they're hiring people that are not.
Look, let me ask you something. How long is your shift at work?
Unless I'm working a double, if I'm working a double, it's 12 to 13 hours. If I'm not, I'm working about 8 to 9 hours.
8 to 9 hours. At the end of 8 to 9 hours, how ready are you to say fuck you to every person that walks in the door?
Person I see,
right?
So all I want to do.
Right, and that starts at like the 5 hour mark, maybe.
Right.
Right, and so put yourself into a position where you're just like, I have to deal with every day.
Right.
Somebody crazy.
No, I don't think it's an easy job.
No, it's a difficult job.
I would never want to do it.
And I don't feel like they have the training, and I don't feel like they reinforce the training to deal with people, because you go through the police academy, it's like 8 weeks or something, or 12 weeks, and you learn obviously laws, and you learn how to drive a car, and you learn how to use tactical gear. And then after that, training's over. You're in a car. You do this now. This is your job. And Jocko Willink put it the best when he was asked about defund the police. And he said, they don't need to be defunded. There are cops out there who went to training 15 years ago who have never had hands put on them in their fucking career. They've never pulled a gun and shot one at somebody ever in their life. There will come a day when somebody will put their hands on that person and they will not know how to react. They will be so uncomfortable that they will kill them. And the problem is that they're not trained. He goes, when we're in the military, we're in the SEALs, we train. We have one mission. We will train 6 months to go do one mission, to execute one mission. And after that mission, we will have another mission. And we will train for that mission. The problem with the police force and law enforcement generally is that there is no training. You go through it one time. After that, it is what it is. There's no post-psych eval. There's none of that.
This is another part that I think, in addition to the lack of training, in addition to the lack of funding, because look, I'm not a defund the police guy. I brought the topic up not because I support it, but because it's out there and I want to discuss it. What I would say about defund the police is this. It's not just about defunding the police in terms of bringing this problem. Their authority is so absolute. You're handing absolute authority into the hands of somebody that doesn't necessarily know how to handle that power.
No,
and
you're
maybe
right.
in some cases it's not even their fault. This is my potential solution, and maybe this is what I'm going to run by you more than anything. What if we did this? Because I feel like as a show, what we want to try to do is not just discuss controversial things, but potentially propose some solutions.
Okay.
Here's been my solution to the problem with the police. And I think we've even talked about this maybe once or twice before, because we've talked about the cops a few times on this show. Is de-escalate the situation between yourself and the cop. So if a cop pulls you over and you have no violent offenses, maybe you have an administrative issue. Maybe you got a ticket, you forgot to pay it, you forgot to show up or whatever. Now, under the current set of circumstances, the cop, with all the authority that they have, they are the judge and the jury, and they can grab your ass and pluck you out of your day. You were late for work, you were speeding to your job, you accidentally went a few miles an hour over the speed limit, you now have a cop on your ass, he's pulled you over, you're like, oh fuck, did I pay that ticket? Did I get that ticket? Oh shit.
Right.
Now the guy's coming up, excuse me, I'm going to need you to get out of the vehicle, and now it's on.
Right. No, you're right. And I've been in that situation where you're like, fuck, I want to sleep in my own bed.
Right. Yes.
I do not want to go with this dude. But at the same time, look, let me tell you, I've been arrested for shit that was,
I got a solution.
Whatever. You know you did that shit.
I got a solution.
But we talked about the solution. We did. I remember.
The solution is, if you've not committed a violent offense, if you haven't done anything other than something administrative, if you're good other than the fact that you had some minor disruption to your life earlier, the cop says to you, hey, you've got this problem, you've got to take care of it. You're going to get to go back to your house. I'm not going to arrest you, because let me tell you something. Once you get arrested, you're not just getting arrested.
No.
Your car's getting impounded.
Yep.
You're not going to work the next day.
Yep.
You might lose your job.
Yep.
Your wife's not going to be fucking happy.
Nope.
You might lose your wife.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you've lost your job, you've lost your car, you've lost your wife. Because you were going a couple miles an hour over the speed limit.
You forgot to show up or pay the ticket or whatever.
All I'm saying is let's figure out a better way, because I can assure you this. While you have gone over the speed limit and been arrested for this offense, there are far worse crimes going on around that should be addressed.
Yeah.
And
You're
these
right.
cops' time, I always think that. I'm like, dude, am I the worst fucking criminal in the world?
There's like 4 cops showing up to take you in.
Why am I being arrested by a trail of cop cars when there's other people out there that
The Hamburglers out there. It's crazy, right?
Let's come up with a solution.
We did talk about that. Going, look, we're gonna issue a new court date, and since you missed that one, I'm gonna show up with a bus. We're gonna come pick you up. We're all going to court. Yeah. You and everyone else that missed it. We're gonna show up.
Your car's
at home.
Your car.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're gonna sleep in a bed.
Yeah,
I agree with you. A lot to think about.
I agree. They shouldn't, you miss a court date for something like that. They shouldn't issue an arrest warrant. They should issue maybe a reminder. Maybe you don't have a police, like a sheriff. Maybe you have whatever else they propose, like social worker. Somebody come and be like, hey, look, why didn't you go?
Well, I think that the Defund the Police effort is geared towards that. In other words, instead of a guy with a gun showing up at your house, a guy walks up to your house and is like, and you talk about all these confrontations, man. Right. You get these guys. We've got a warrant out on this dude. Yeah. Well, what's the warrant for? Breonna Taylor. They had a warrant.
Yeah.
A no-knock warrant. And I'm saying these are people sitting in their house watching TV, man. I've been sitting in houses with people watching TV. Yeah. Can you imagine a fucking cop showing up and coming through the door? Look, you and I are sitting in a house, all right? I can promise you this. I don't carry a gun, but I'm always armed. I got something on me that can kill you. So that if a motherfucker drives into the gym parking lot when I'm trying to walk to the fucking thing, I've got something on me that I can kill that dude with. So we're sitting watching TV at a friend's house. 3 of us. We actually have a third friend. Imagine a third friend.
Okay.
We're watching TV. The door busts open. I'm not complying to whatever is being shouted at me by the person that comes crashing through the door. I'm fighting for my life.
Well, there's going to be 2 sides of that. There's going to be fight or flight. There's going to be the person who fights. There's going to be the person who just lays down and, they were, look.
What are you doing? You
don't know.
You know how to fight as good as I do.
Yeah, but you don't know what you would do until the doors kicked in. And unfortunately for the people in that apartment, it went the wrong way. I
thought it through.
I don't think about it. I don't think about it at all.
Well, you don't worry about it. But
I worry about it.
What if it happened?
I've worried about it then. I'm not a worrier. But I think the problem is that when you say defund the police, that message is already very well hated by a lot of people.
Is there a better system than what we currently have?
There's a better system, but you got to come up with a better name. You got to come up with a better slogan than that.
Okay, so we're now down to the
You're going to tell
verbiage?
people, yeah, you're down to the verbiage for sure.
So
100%.
Even if the message is,
what do they want? Do they want to take away money from cops? They want cops to go away?
They want to keep people from dying.
Yeah, I get that. Train them. Go in there and go, all right, look, we need to have a value. Look, as you're a cop, you're dealing with people every day in fucked up situations.
In America are behind bars? You think the worst criminals in America?
I think there's a mix of all of them, for sure. I mean, there's people behind bars that don't need to even be alive because they've done heinous crimes to people.
Absolutely.
For sure.
No doubt.
And there's people behind.
They're going to meet.
They're going to die eventually.
There's justice. Yeah. There's justice inside prison.
Yeah.
I can assure
Eventually.
you. If you've done something bad enough, the dudes in prison know what everyone in there has done.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it's going to happen. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are sitting in there waiting on a court date. There's a lot of people sitting there just, rotting away for
executive offices on the 50th floor that have committed worse crimes than you're not going to ever even imagine.
I know.
There's people sitting in political offices right now that have murdered people all over the world, and they're not in trouble at all.
It's crazy, man. It's a wild ride.